They're all around me, circling like vultures. They wanna break me and wash away my colors. Wash away my colors. Take me higher, and I'll sing. Oh, you make everything okay, 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 okay. We are one and the same. Oh, you take all of the pain away, 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 away. Save me if I become my demons.
Good evening, guys. This is day 1 of week 4 for the Pro Gaming Season 2017 Spring Split powered by Factors Energy Drink. Wow! I'm Yuko alongside Miss Vulcan, and we just witnessed Game 1, Match 1. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, clearly we saw that the TNC side, Lando was very alone in the fight. Like, there was no one for him to embrace him or join in with his vengeful maelstrom, and that's why Mineski was able to win that fight. In the terms of trade, positioning, that's why they could, really pressure TNC because Lando was always absent when they actually fight.
That is true, and let's not forget that TNC tends to neglect the fact that they have to follow up Lando.
And now that being said, let's see the standings and the stats. What happened? That because of that defeat of TNC, where do they stand now with a 4-5 record compared to Mineski? 8-1 now, still at the top of the
Still at
food
the top.
chain.
That is true, and since we're now at Game 2, we will wait and see if TNC has something up their sleeve, or will Mineski be able to contain that top rank.
It's not the top rank is gonna be still maintained even if TNC still wins it with a 1-1. But still, if Mineski gets another sweep here, they will be secured of that first position for quite a long time.
A 9-1 standing in PGS is something, actually.
It's really like a huge thing. And now let's see how TNC is going to answer Mineski's game, because what they have to do is be a bit more engaging. They have to really commit. Like, commitment is actually an issue in the matches of
Commitment is actually an issue, okay.
I mean, in terms of going to a fight. So let's get to the drafting phase and see what will be TNC's plan to fight against Mineski from their loss.
I'm actually curious. I don't think Maokai is actually a comfort pick for Lando. So we'll see which champion will Lando pick now, and let's hope that TNC will be able to follow up Lando's charge in.
Of course, when we saw how Lando plays, he doesn't really play champions like now. He plays champions like Fiora, there's the Fiora, there's also the Camille. And knowing that Camille is banned, but Fiora was still open. So let's see what happens that Mineski really shut down. Sorry, with that Fiora and Camille ban. Last ban was that, and clearly Lando really suffered from that. And Mineski really did their homework. And now another Fiora ban and Camille ban onto that top laner Lando. And TNC really focusing on that Shen and LeBlanc.
LeBlanc, we've seen LeBlanc being banned as if it was a normal thing in the world, right? I think all because of the distortion and her passive, Sigil of Malice.
The Sigil of Malice and the Distortion combo is going to be a nuisance, and I don't want to be in the receiving end of that, or one of the team wants to face up against a LeBlanc who is going to snowball really crazy. But with the recent nerfs, we can expect that LeBlanc will take a bit of a time to set up, and the snowball potential of LeBlanc is really reduced.
That is true. And we can see the first pick, Lando.
And Lando on that Kha'Zix, I can't stress enough how Kha'Zix should be played aggressively. But with the recent nerfs, I'm not pretty sure if you can expect that another, let's say resets. The resets are reduced. Like from 60 it became 40%, the damage, and plus we always saw next low on mana every time there's a clash happening.
That is true. And right now, guys, we're having some technical difficulty. But anyway, going back to discussion, I actually did a bit of homework. We could see that Kha'Zix can go 1-1 against Rengar. And for early game, I'm going to have to say Listen and Elise, but Kazakh still has this advantage when it comes to the isolation, right?
The isolation and the taste of their sweet fear is going to be that bonus magic damage.
That's
But
like the cherry on top.
I'm not really sure that with that recent Kazakh's nerf, that Kazakh is still going to be that threat in the jungle because when TNC picked Graves jungle, they really failed to play Graves properly. When you pick a Graves jungle, you have to be aggressive. Dominate the lane and rotate. And when Graves gets that warrior enchantment, just 4-0 in like 8 minutes, that is going to be enough for TNC to have that map dominance. But they did not do that. And now they just picked a Kazakhs, taking away that from Mineski.
That is true, and we are now back at the drafting phase. We could now see a Trundle and MF. Will that be an MF support or an ADC MF?
I'm pretty not sure, but lately we can see a comeback of that MF ADC with the recent lethality buff.
That is
There's
true.
actually a comeback on ADCs who were meant to be supports that are coming back. And now, Mineski, they left that Corki open for Exocet to pick up, and now they did. They got the Corki. They have the Hecarim and the Maokai. I really like Hecarim as a champion because of that gank. The gank is so powerful, and if ever, I always run like pure lethality on a Hecarim, so that's like
100% lethality.
yeah, 100%, like 90 lethality with the devastating charge. It will be enough to instantly delete a squishy AD carry. But of course, this is the pro gaming series. We're not gonna expect something like that. These are compositions that complement each other. So let's see in the second banning phase, Elise ban and then Elise.
I think they don't want anyone trying to go up against Kazakhs. And going back to Corki, we all know that he's somewhat hard to gank because he has Valkyrie. But if you're able to, example, Kazuki has Petrifying Gaze, you'll be able to lock down that Corki. But we don't have a Kazuki right now, so we can now see a lock-in on Varus, one of the most famous ADCs in this meta.
Of course, it's now James playing in the Mineski side, and in the TNC side, Raze is going to secure the Veigar for his mid laner. But going back, it's a Quinn and an MF. Interestingly, it's Quinn as an ADC is somehow tricky. It's like a Vayne in a way. The same range that you have to play as a Vayne can be played onto a Quinn with the. Of course, they're gonna be expecting rotations.
That
with
is
the Quinn.
true. Well, you can now see that Quinn is actually in the mid, and you're right. This is an ADC MF with a support Veigar. So thoughts on that?
Of course, I would really like to go for, in the bot lane, a Veigar support against a Brand support. I mean, it's now going to be those AP supports in the bot lane, but Brand, as a mid laner, has a lot of damage and stun, especially with his ultimate. It's going to be enough to incinerate his opponent, but Veigar has time to set up, and knowing that Varus is the ADC, the stun of Veigar won't even reach
That
James.
is true. Well, one of the things I came across was if you try to build Edge of the Night on MF, it would be, if you know what, pop that up, pop her ult as well. It'll be hard to take down. And you'll have to have 2 CCS or 1 spell and 1 CC.
Okay, now with a Trundle against the Maokai, you can really expect that Lando will be delivering some sort of more dominance now. It's not anymore him being that lonely tank with the Maokai. It's now Kaigo picked up the Maokai. But look at the composition of Mineski. It has that Hecarim. So now, guys, we are now live on the Summoner's Rift. This is game 2 of match 1 of TNC on the blue side against Mineski on the red side. Let's see how TNC will adjust their playstyle because of their loss in the previous match.
That is true, and we will see what TNC has on their sleeve. But I'm looking at the jungle bot picks for both teams. I think around level 2, around level 3, Kazakh should go and keep on ganking because it's necessary, and you wouldn't want Hecarim to actually snowball. And looking to the top lane, Kaigu, I think Maokai is his comfort pick, whereas Lando, we could see he is good with Trundle as well. And here we have the Veigar and the Brand support, so everything is. I wouldn't say these are basic picks, but these are picks that we might want to catch and get some pointers on.
Of Yeah, I would really like to go back on that brand that you mentioned, the brand support against the Veigar in the late game. If ever late game happens for TNC, 'cause we just saw in the previous game that the late game did not happen properly for them, and we have to expect that TNC will play smart this time with that Veigar. Veigar in the late game, amazing damage. That's why the Quinn is there. In terms of dueling against the Corki, that Quinn has that burst with with that Thunderlord's decree, same as Exosen. So now in the laning phase, in the mid lane match between Exosen, he has to play it safe
That is true.
because he does not have that chain, does not have the Trinity Force, and after he gets that Trinity Force, he goes straight to an Infinity Edge, instant burst.
That was actually really nice. I might have to take on that. And that means TNC should be careful at the early to mid part of the game since they might have on control of the game at the late part. However, we are seeing that Hecarim on Nick stuff. We all know how dangerous Hecarim can be in a game.
Of course, when Hecarim is in the jungle, no matter how much wards you place, that speed with that ghost and devastating charge, you won't have enough time to go back to your turret and hide under the fear that Nexta is gonna rotate aggressively with that speed.
That is true. And I do know MSK has this tendency to put 3 players onto the mid lane. We will see how that will play out.
But now, look at that! Burst, betting it all in on that red buff. There is a ward there. Of course, Mineski spots Burst's position. What will that information do for them? They know that on the red side of their own jungle, Burst is there. And look what happens. Look at Kaigu. He knows that Burst is there. So what happened to the gang there? It did not happen properly.
Well,
knowing that there was a ward placed there.
That is true. And follow-up wouldn't mind much. So this is a battle for the vision and the team pickup, right? And going back to the bot lane.
And before the bot lane happens, I really like the matchup in the mid lane because of Quinn against the Corki. And see, in terms of dueling, he has the position, he has the blind. So it's gonna give Exosen a really hard time. And look at that! Burst rotating to the mid lane. Let's see what happens if he's going to commit. There is the ignite, and the pop of the ignite is gonna finish it off. But no, that cleanse did save his life. And giving the first blood to Mineski. That would be next up, picking up the first blood. See what happened there? That cleanse just removed the Ignite's true damage.
You're right about Hecarim being a huge threat all over the map. And this is what I've been telling earlier. Burst level 3 should keep on ganking to be able to snowball and to be able to go on par with that Hecarim.
Really great summoner pickup by Exosen with that cleanse. I mean, if he did not get that cleanse, what would have happened? And now, both summoners are down in the mid lane. Let's see what's the jungler gonna do about that? Will they go for a gank? No? Will they, time it right? Flash and the stun will not land on anyone, but still gives enough time for Burst to go in and pick up TG.
Well, that was somewhat gank, and they were able to take down the support, so they could go for more poke and more aggression.
I mean, the Flash stun did not actually stun him, but still gave them that stall in terms of ganking. And now in the mid lane, denying the gank of Nextang with that, stun he did.
And going back to the mid lane matchup, Match and Exosen, Corki and Quinn. You said that Corki has the advantage against Quinn, right?
No, Quinn has the advantage
has the
against
advantage, okay.
against the Corki, but that advantage won't be, it's not really a game changer. Of course, still you have to account how the players will play that champion and the itemization. See that Exosen picked up the corrupting potion instead of, let's say, a Doran's ring or starting nice offensive item, instead getting a regenerative item like corruptive potion.
Well, Corki does have spammable skills, so we will see how that will work out. And with the Valkyrie and the package, so I'm really looking forward. He's probably going to utilize this all throughout the game. Going back to the top lane, well, nothing much. And looking to the CC, well, it's just 10 CS away.
And when it comes to in the top lane, clearly when Lando picks up that Tiamat, he means business. He's gonna pressure Kaigo under that turret, not letting him get away without, being a prisoner. That he has the Ice Pillar. If he actually ports inside, Lando can actually just cancel his teleport. So that's why he's doing his best to push him against the turret, really far, so that he can't respawn properly. Whenever he does, he will lose that turret.
That is true. And here is the player matchup, guys. We could see that James has somewhat better stats compared to Raze in KDA, DPM, even in KD. So we will see. Well, I do like James as well. Like you could see how it immense the damage can do.
Man, that subjugate is really hurts, man. Like you really shred the tankiness that Maokai is supposed to be, but that subject with that bite and the chomp, it just really ate that tree up, giving him a kill. Clearly, Lando means business when he picked up that Tiamat.
That is true. And let's not forget, he was against a Maokai, but he was able to take him on. And not just any Maokai player, it was Kaigu, which Kaigu's comfort pick is probably Maokai.
That subjugate really hurts. I mean, wow. Clearly, Kaigo has to play it a bit more safe, itemize properly, has to rush that Sunfire against a Trundle, but knowing that picking up the TMC, look at how much he's pushing with that Frozen Domain plus the bite, gives him more at AD in terms of dueling. So Trundle is a really good duelist.
So we could see now that Lando, when it comes to dueling, he does have the upper hand. And I'm really looking forward to how TNC with this kind of lineup will follow up whenever Lando might try to do an engage.
In the mid lane, man, look how they're playing. Very tense, not committing, not over-committing. And clearly, TNC learning from their mistakes of over-predicting, overthinking. It is showing right now with their rotation. Uh-oh, next Burst is there. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna wait? He does with the onslaught of the shadow, but Burst not giving up the chase, but that blast cone will end that chase for him.
That was so close. And going back to the first game, we could see that TNC might have a number of mistakes, and Mineski was just taking advantage of that. So we might, TNC might want to tone down the mistakes just so Mineski cannot utilize or switch the game to their advantage.
Clearly, what Mineski lacked there was vision. Vision was key, and the Honey Fruit was supposed to sustain Nexta in the jungle more, but he burned his ultimate to get away. He does not have a flash, he has a ghost. Good thing he has that ultimate to get away from Burst. And that's why vision is important on the riverside of the mid lane near the Baron to see where the enemy jungler is at. And look at that! Dueling against Corki, Quinn is going to be painful with that armor penetration. And clearly, Exosen delaying his build because of the current topology. I mean, picking up alongside is really nice to really rush it, but look at that, he has the chin building towards to a page right now.
You're right. Quinn versus Corki. Quinn might have a bit of an upper hand here, along with, let's not forget the jungler, it's Kha'Zix.
The blind is very annoying because Corki is a skill shot champion, and that's not going to be easy if he is blinded. And now, the visit to the bot lane by Burst secures them a kill. And now with that one kill, let's see how Burst will itemize, because clearly the lethality buff is really strong. But we don't really see Kha'Zix picking up lethality already, like a Young's Ghost Blade or the Dust Blade. After they get the Warrior Plant, they go straight for a Black Cleaver. So is that a right choice? And now, Lando overcommitting and overpush, but look at that, that Subjugate will help him sustain that fight. He's not backing away, but with that Tiamat, that gives them a go signal for their Drake. TNC secured the Drake, but now, what Lando did was buy time. Nexta is not giving chase up, but still, what will happen? No, he does not get the kill. That was a really nice stall for his team, though.
That is true. And it took so much time before Lando was actually slain, and they managed to get the Drake, which is nice. Win-win.
Of course, the Drake is going to be beneficial. It's that Infernal Drake plus that Subjugate. It's really painful. That's the classic combo of a twin. Blind your target and versus that with the Thunderous Decay. Burst, overcommitting. He has no mana. He's very low on mana. Gives the signal for Mineski to give chase, and he gets sniped. He has no mana. No, he can't get away. And that's going to give Exozen an easy pickoff.
He shouldn't have overstayed, since there was a turret. The turret was still up. He didn't have the minion wave to actually stall the turret hit for him, and it did cost him his life.
Of course, when you dive a turret against a Corki, that's not a really wise choice.
Turret diving is not a way of life.
It's not gonna be beneficial for Kha'Zix, and he was really, the resets are lower. Of course, the taste of their fear, the damage is
Taste of
down.
their fear.
The damage is down. So clearly, Burst is feeling the nerf right now.
Nixon and Exon just effortlessly taking down this mid lane turret. And well, I am curious on how James will be able to handle this kind of pressure because he's been dying a number of times now. So as we may know Varus as someone who has this immense damage around mid to late game. But what will James do to keep up? He's always the one being targeted, especially looking into burst, right?
Of course, that's correct because Varus has no form of escape. That he is going to be that high priority target compared to the late game. The Varus played by Zencho was not a high priority target. That was TNC's mistake. They saw that mistake, and that is why they are going to focus on to James this time. Playing again for the second game of MSK is that Varus.
Well, I've been thinking about the Varus Nami combo because Nami has this speed boost and Varus could really utilize that. Also, Nami has 2 CCS, slow, and then the speed boost. So
Well, Nami has that hard crowd control with that, not the hard crowd control and the soft crowd control, the slow. But the knockup with the Aqua Prison is gonna help him really stack up the piercing arrow. But same with the Brand. Brand offers the stun with the Spirit Fire. It's going to be enough for Ham to land that piercing arrow, knowing that the target is stunned. Because stun is also a powerful CC.
also, nevertheless, it is a good bot lane combo. Well, looking into the mid lane champs and the bot lane duos, which team are you leaning more on?
Right now, TNC is looking good with that win, giving Exosen a hard time in the mid lane. It is 13 minutes in the game, and yet he has no Trinity Force. In the previous games, we actually see him grab that Trinity Force on the 10-minute mark or the 11-minute mark. Clearly, he's delayed in his item.
That is true. And here, guys, this is the code. So you might want to open a new tab and input that code. We'll be giving away 5 mystery gifts, but only 4 links that will be up at random times. For the 5th MG, it will be chosen at random from the pool of the people that were able to input the code.
Oh, it's bullet time on with the rain shower, but here comes Burst. They saw him and he flashed away. The stun did not land, but still that setup with the bullet time, great synergy with that
It was a
Veigar.
great setup. Well, Mineski was able to respond in time, so TNC might want to try again since you were right. That was a really nice setup.
Oh, they have to back away. There's Lando with that trundle. Clearly, look at that top lane turret. Very low on health. They might get the first turret. It is a 5-man group up on the mid lane. What are they gonna do? They're going for that Rift Herald. Will Mineski let them get it without a problem? Let's see.
We will see. Well, a Rift Herald buff is really useful, and Lando, comparing Lando Maokai to Lando Trundle, we do know that he's more comfortable with Trundle, and he does know how to use Trundle so well. Like, he was able to take down Kaigo earlier.
That Subjugate is going to shred tanks. I mean, the focus of Maokai is to be tanky enough for his allies, but the Subjugate is going to make Lando tanky instead. That's why picking up Tiamat is good. There's the Subjugate's, benefit. That's why not getting a tank item on Trundle already is a good choice. Picking up Tiamat will greatly help with the King's Tribute passive onto Trundle. Heavy sustain on the laning phase.
That is true, and let's not forget that Maokai is down on a bit of CS, so he might want to farm a bit if he wants to, just go 1-on-1 and do well with Lando.
The Spectre's Crawl and the Ravenous Hydra. Oh, that's a really nice itemization against the Trundle. Might go for a Spirit Message for more sustain with that passive. And now, the Lando on the top lane doing his best to push out that turret. His teleport is down, but Kaiko's teleport is up. And knowing that TG has no flash, will this be an easy pickup for TNC? And it is! James did not see that coming, but here comes Nixon. Oh, he missed the creep. He landed on the creep, but still good choice by Hammers to really clamp that piercing arrow onto killing burst.
A 1-for-1 trade, and again, Raze's bullet time just came up and popped at the right time.
And now Match over pushing that mid turn. But see, in terms of dueling, that's what I'm talking about. That Quinn is such an easy counter against a skill shot heavy champion like Corki. He has that Yomu's Ghostblade extra lethality, more flat armor penetration.
With all of that tension all over the map, we could see that TNC was able to take down the first blood turret.
But that's gonna give each member an extra goal. And also 400 gold for the one to get out. Clearly, Lando is really rich, rolling in money with that 177 CS. Is just gonna itemize more and more in terms of sustaining the lane and pushing with his Hydra.
Sustaining the lane indeed because everyone cares about lane.
Ooh, raise a burn on 2 summoner spell. That is going
Just
to
escape.
be a really good trade for MSK, knowing that Raze has no summoners and he spent it all at the same time. So they're gonna keep track of that timer.
Let's not forget that he also used the bullet time earlier to take down James.
And now, let's see. I mean, Mineski doing good job with the rotations, but TNC, great job in terms of pushing. Clearly, Lando, wow, well,
He's not giving that up.
It's not giving up in pushing because he can. He's a Trundle. He has to subjugate. If it's a 2 versus 1 fight, a Trundle will win because of that subjugate. And plus, he has the Ravenous Hydra.
A very nice intimidation actually, and now he is eyeing that Rift Arrow.
Oh, that Rift Arrow is gonna help Lando just take down turrets. Let's see. Because of course Rift Arrows are normally given to solo pushers like Trundle. And now they're in fourth place. This will give TNC a key objective in pushing.
And MSK is even away from where the Rift Arrow actually is.
Oh, wow, they got the Rift Herald and now they're gonna get that Mountain Drake. They have
Nice
secured 2
vision.
Drake. Here comes Axo. He cleansed out of the stun. Great piercing arrow shot by James. Burst, but still they got what they wanted. They got the objective. They have the Rift Herald. In terms of objective, TNC has
TNC
two.
indeed.
TNC has 2 turrets. 2 Drakes and 1 turret. Whereas Mineski, they don't have the Drake. They have the Mountain Drake and Infernal Drake. That's gonna really synergize well with the true damage passive of that Mountain Drake onto turrets plus a Rift Herald on Trundle.
That's like the cherry on their cake, and I was actually surprised since while they were taking that Rift Herald, there was also this champion that was taking on the Drake. So because he had objectives and vision, TNC is more on the lead right now.
Oh, look at that. Lando is done with top and he just, did whatever he could do to the top lane and now he's roaming around providing extra push. He does not want Exxon to push that mid lane. Clearly, great rotations by Lando.
That is true, and roughly 20 minutes into the game, I think they're somewhat neglecting the lanes right now. They're just
Oh, here comes Match. He targets DG. He flashed away, but will that be enough? Bullet time is on to them. Here comes the star. DG's gonna die. He dies to Raze.
that got so much of Hamiz's help, but he was able.
Oh, that piercing arrow. That's gonna hurt. And here comes Kaiku. Really gonna get that Raze. He wants the damage. And now look. Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you see that? That Rainbow Shower just gave it a shutdown gold.
That was actually amazing. That was a 2-for-2 trade. Such a great response from that team. Wow. Well, that got us hyped. That was
Man,
really nice.
that. Wow, I was not expecting that
That-
type of kill. That was like
Hands down.
hands down onto that misfortune for that slow rages with that shower of bullets.
And now we can see that while the Baron Nashor will be up, TNC already has their eye on that, and really nice clarity when it comes to objectives. But now next
Oh,
time,
here comes Match. Man, that Quinn is really delivering the pain. Will he get away? That's it's really stressful when there's a Quinn roaming around with a lot of movement speed, faster than a Hecarim. And look what happened in the mid lane. Exxon really delayed that itemization. 20 minutes into the marker, just has it reinforced. And now, Exhaust is onto him. He can't do much. Match gets the kill. Onslaught on the shadow combo by Nyx that secures him the kill onto Match. Let's see what will happen. Right now, TNC doing their best. Rotations are in their favor. Aggressiveness by Match. It's really securing the objectives. by Lando in the top lane with that Rift Herald buff.
That is true. They have a clear view and clear a stronghold on what they will do for this game. And let me just say how amazing Veigar was when it comes to that skill succession. He was able to take that exit, and the damage from Raze is actually good.
That's what I like about Lando. When he plays top lane, he knows where he wants to be with that Ravenous Hydra and the Rift Herald buff. Knowing that the bot lane's turret is dangerously low on health, seeing that he gives him the go signal to go to the top lane. Now, clearly Kaigo really having a hard time responding to his teammates with the Maokai because he's always pushed under his turret, can't do much. Like, look at that, 2v1. Lando is not scared, he has that subjugate. One hit of that with the stacked Rift Herald, that's gonna finish up the turret.
I think he's just actually waiting for the proper time to take down that turret and then just gracefully exit. Since while all of his members are applying pressure all throughout the map, he's just there for the cleanups and just take down tiny bits of turrets all throughout the lane.
This is really a different TNC that we saw in the first game of match 1. They are shaping up, they've man up. Now this is a different team. I've been thinking, look at that Quinn in the mid lane, clearly shutting down the speed of X6 itemization. No 24 shit. Clearly we actually see that at this timer, X6 actually supposed to has 4 items secured.
That is true. And in line, given that Exosen does not have enough itemizations, it means Quinn Match is doing a really good job delaying that and just shutting him down. And while going back to top lane, well, we have Match just cleaning that wave. He does need that CS. And here at the mid lane, well, Curse and Raze together just, oh, here we have Hamas. I'm still curious on what will happen if Hamas' damage will go up though.
Uh-oh, here comes the horse. He just gotta charge him, but he gets delayed with the Storm Rages. That was a really nice Lando skill by Orthros to really deny Nexta with that Hecarim.
That is that's scary.
And now TG caught off guard. The bullet time is so painful. Raze has almost a second lethality item. He's gonna go for a third one. Yomu's Ghost Blade, and now the Nightshade Gown is gonna give that misfortune extra penetration.
Let's just have this minute and clap for Raze, because him as MF is really breathtaking, and he knows when to land that ult. And earlier we were both amazed at how he was able to execute the kill, so that was a really nice play by Raze.
And look at Lando, he's done with the top lane. I mean, top lane already gave him what he wanted. He just tossed it away. Now he's going to the bot lane. He's rotating really good. I mean, with that Charlotte with Revenant's Hydra, see, Spirit Visage finished up. Passive is gonna be really great with the King's Tribute. Look at that. I mean, he's not gonna go away for a long time. He has the Corrupting Potion too. And look at his CS, 271. He's just rolling in money. What's this? The members responding to Lando. Is he still gonna get to Cryo? No, he does not. He gets stand by Dixta. Now it's 3 members. He has to get away. But think again, that subjugate gives him that extra defense. And now, with all that commotion going around in the blue side of Mineski, they took advantage of that. They got their second Mountain Drake, but Mineski has not.
That is true. While Mineski's eyes are hot on Lando, TNC is utilizing that and just getting their objectives. A kill for Mineski, Arthurus goes down.
And with that said, Exozen does not have the cleanse anymore. He cleansed out of the Veigar stun, giving enough damage to his teammates to really kill Orthros. A bit of an opposition play by Orthros. He was trying to put wards, and wards are important. Right now, it's 25 minutes almost in the game, and Matt clearly eyeing his target onto Exo, and the Ignite is going to finish him off. Exo cannot just farm freely because Matt is onto him, breathing down his neck. And now next up, oh my lord, he missed! He missed, and now he goes to the combat. Why did he go back? What? Burst is dead! Oh no! Shut down gold! What? What was that?
Wait, Match was able to charge in because he knows Burst is there to respond.
He's like, come at me, come at me! But he has, his teammate Burst was there. The flash was burned with the onslaught of shadows. Great rotations by Burst. He was just there at the right place at the right time. And now, that's cues for a Baron.
Man, I really think this this is a different TNC. Such amazing plays, and now effortlessly they were able to take a Baron.
Ah, that was close, but here comes Match with a pickup
Oh.
again with that twin speed. Right,
They're
that's
just all over
going
the
to
map.
be a really a real pain for Mineski because they have the vision wards, but the speed of Quinn, that's just not enough. And clearly we see it again. EXO really trying to farm his lane, but TNC won't permit that. They have the Baron buff. It's going to be a Baron play for TNC. 3 Drakes, and now, whoa, that's a lot of damage.
A lot of damage. And we could see that Match is really eyeing Exosen here, since he doesn't want Corki to have presence all over the map. So as much as Match can take and tone down Exosen, he will and he will.
Whoa, in the top lane, Lando is soaking up that third damage. He is not afraid. Here comes the help from his allies. And now, 2 inhibitor turrets down and 1 inhibitor. Let's see that if TNC will take down Mineski for this game with a 1-1.
I can really hear and feel TNC's morale going up since they have a clear view on their objectives. And here, at the top lane, well, Match did not have any second thoughts onto charging onto Exozen, and while the enemy team's jungle Nixta came upon, he just know that his teammate is there. Burst is right there, so he didn't have any other thoughts to just charge. And while he was low on health, Burst just jumps in, assists the kill, and they were able to take down Hector.
And that devastating charge was supposed to be picking up, but that extra auto attack just finished things off. It's clearly what Match is good at, picking up enemies, out-rotating their jungler Nexta.
I actually thought Match was gonna die there, but nope, a wild burst appeared.
And now in the mid lane, it is 28 minutes in the game, almost actually, but now look at that! Turrets are down, 8 turrets! TNC just got 8 turrets, and now it's bullet time, but oh, he cleansed the way, but still, Veigar's skill just reached him without any regrets, and now Lando, look at that, soaking up the damage, he is onto it with the subjugate, Nixta, he's alone! Oh, he gets shot down by Mash, this is game set for TNC!
We are really seeing a different TNC right now. They're not slowing down. They're going all out with that damage. They were able to take down 4 members of Mineski.
That comeback by TNC, we can clearly see how they played really well with that mid lane Quinn and Lando. Again, he has always been consistent in the pro gaming series. In the top lane, there was a Trundle, there was also Fiora and Camille. He's very powerful in the top lane.
That is true, and well, I just can't get over how amazing Raze was with that bullet time. He just knows when to pop that skill up.
Because,
Amazing.
of course, there's Orthros. We have to give credit to Orthros with that Waker, providing that inner circle that gave that gave Raze that time to use that bullet time. So wow, TNC making a comeback with a 1-1. Let's get to the end stats.
Here we have Match has the highest amount of kills and Raze
Oh,
following.
look at that penetration
I'm
by
curious
Match.
I'm curious about the damage input though.
The damage by Match, those are 6 lethality items. Pure. Oh, there it is, guys.
Woo!
There it is,
60K.
16,531 damage. It's that burst and penetration. And look at that bullet time. Of course, penetration all the way.
That is true, and you could see Quinn as the mid laner. He was able to utilize that and just keep Exosen at bay. They didn't want Exosen to have the chance to snowball.
Of course, that really hard counter onto Exosen with that Corki. The blind and the burst combo of Quinn, it was really difficult, and it showed. Exosen was late in his itemization. When he's late, and Corki, as a Corki, you don't want to be late when it comes to your damage.
That is true. As much as you can spam your skills, damage input is something you might want to put your eyes on.
So guys, there you have it, a strong comeback by TNC onto game 2 of match 1. It's going to be 1-1, and it's loud. Look at that, that's a different TNC right there. Let's see if they will show throughout the Pro Gaming Series. So there you have it, guys. You just watched Pro Gaming Series 2017 Spring Split, powered by Backwards Energy Drink. We'll be back with a short break, and once again, I'm Vulcan, and joining with me was Yoko. Is Hammers did not see that coming, but here comes Nixon. Oh, he missed the creep. He landed on the creep, but still, good choice by Hammers to really land that piercing arrow on the killing bird.
Well, for us, again, they just put the time to screen of the top at the right side.
And now Match overcooking that winning front. But see, in terms of dueling, that's what I'm talking about. That Quinn is an easy, sneaky hit flashed away, but will that be enough? Bullet time is on to them. Here comes the star. He's gonna die. He dies to Rage.
That got so much damage off, but he was
Oh, that piercing arrow, that's gonna hurt. And here comes Kaiku. Really gonna get that Rage. He wants the damage. And the oh my god! Oh my god! Did you see that? That Rainbow is so And Matt clearly eyeing his target onto X, and the Ignite is going to finish him off. And he cannot just far really because Matt is onto him breathing now. And now next up. Oh my lord! He missed! He missed! And now he goes to the combat! Why did he go back? What? Burst is dead! Oh no! Shut down goal! What? Oh, he cleansed away, but still, Baker's skill just reached him without any regrets. And now Lando, look at that, soaking up the damage. He is on to it with the subjugate. Dexter, he's alone. Oh, he gets shut down by Mash. This is game set for TNC.
here. We are really seeing a different TNC right now. They're not slowing down. They're going all out with their damage. They appreciate our 4 members of Venus.
That comeback by TNC, we can clearly see how they